I'm walking the dog in a high vis and talking about the morning after the day before the SET Allocations day. I must, I have to say, I must admit, I think I was way more perturbed and excited. Not excited is the wrong word because it makes me think it was a positive thing. Animated about the SET allocations than pretty much every principal in the country who is actually experiencing them for themselves. Because ultimately, it seems, as soon there was very little kind of furore after it. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about furore and anger and all the rest of it. But it felt like almost a resignation yesterday. Apparently, rumour was that the allocations will come out at 3 o'clock. I'm sure at some point we'll find out that someone negotiated that fact. But anyway, they came out, and I spent the next hour and a bit updating the app I made to make it easier for principals to find clustering partners. And by the time I'd done it, I'd noticed that basically almost everybody had found a partner in the space of time that I had created the app, or if they hadn't found a partner, they were looking for partners without the need for the app. It kind of, I don't know, it's slightly, I suppose in a way it's slightly depressing to see that, you know, it almost was like this, it was like the fastest 100-meter race you'd ever see. It was quick, people were quickly out of the blocks. And I'll tell you a few things that I noticed. One thing I noticed was how quiet some people seemed to be. It was almost like they had predetermined that what hours they were going to get, and they effectively had made their arrangements before they came out. And if it turned out that their hours had changed, maybe they wouldn't have been quiet. I noticed that. I noticed it was actually my acting deputy called it Principal Tinder, which I thought was quite funny, and how quick it was. Like you were, I don't know how Tinder works. I'm the wrong generation, but it was almost like if you didn't get a positive response straight away, you moved on to someone else really fast, and you know it didn't matter that your best match was actually the match you went with. I noticed some schools working for little bits of hours, and when I just looked up their numbers, they should have teamed up with much better matches. But what they did instead was, if they had, let's say, I don't know, 15 hours, they went off anyway and found like a 5 and a 5, and then they were looking for another 5 or another whatever. The maths, I noticed that. So I mean, effectively, I suppose what what happened was, despite the intentions of this SET allocations, where you get principals around the country to scurry around and find the best possible match, or get into clusters, or even talk to each other in a large group and say, how do we divide this up best, which obviously would be the best thing to do. What actually happened was what happens every year. People just scurry around, upsetting each other, and leaving people, I mean, essentially without combinations. I had already 2 principals in touch with me, upset because they were looking at my app, and there was a school like up the road from me, and and for whatever, because they said I'd had a missed text from them, and when I went back to them, like I was working, when I went back to them like 20 minutes later, that no, I'm sorted now, and I asked who they went with, and it was a school like, way out of the town, and it just didn't make sense. So there was so in a way, you just learn all the things that you knew you were going to learn from these SET allocations. it tells you a lot about our education system, and what can you do. That's everything I learned. The other thing I learned, and I think this is where this might go slightly more interesting, because I don't think people like having a mirror shone on them, but the other thing I'm missing is furore this morning in the media, because loads of people have lost teachers, and they will lose teachers, because 21% of schools lost allocations in SET. Now, I remember a few weeks ago, I'm sure you all do, is that 200 schools, which is less than 21% of schools, lost SNA allocations. And it was national front page news for days and weeks after, until the government were forced to make a change. I've heard none of that. I see the INTO, in fairness to them, have put out some strange football analogy, giving out about it. But there's no parents, because that's where I think things actually happen. There's no parents out there kind of kicking up a fuss. There's no organisations or advocacy groups kicking up a fuss to say that their school is losing 10 hours, 15 hours of SET support. And I wonder about that. I wonder why that is. What is the difference between losing SNA allocations and losing SET allocations, and why don't we treat them exactly the same way? And I don't know the answer to that, because it's a loss of a person to help a child in their learning. And maybe is it a question about learning versus care needs? I don't know. I'm just curious as to why there's no one kicking up a fuss yet. And it's early days. Maybe the fuss will be kicked up today or tomorrow, but I'm not sensing that urgency. So that's just a few random thoughts for Thursday morning, the day after. I'm going to have to move on from it all. The sport of SET allocations has been, as usual, an anticlimax. And maybe something will happen. Who knows? Other than that, I'll be back to you talking about something else. All the best. Bye.